Ladies and gentlemen, it is Anno Domine 2025. Welcome to 2025. I'm Eve Ryan, and I'm a Schmo.
And I'm Cairo, and I'm also a Schmo.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Never thought we would make it this far. Anybody else want to point at the Mayan calendar and laugh?
Oh, do we get to do that again?
I don't know, probably. I feel like every year we have a little bit of a liberty to like point and laugh, not just the Mayan calendar, but all the doomsday preppers from the Mayan calendar.
Apparently, there was another one of those things this last year, and like sometime in the spring.
Dude, people always assume the world's about to end, and 100% of the time they are wrong.
I'm checking this now because I'm curious if there's. Yeah, the Wikipedia has a list of dates predicted for apocalyptic events.
Ooh, okay.
Our next one. Ooh, we've got some spicy ones coming up. Probably in our lifetime. That's very good. 21st December 2012, attributed to Various. Very
Ooh.
nice. Apparently, the Messiah Foundation International has predicted for 2026 that, in accordance with the predictions of Riz Ahmad Gohar Shahi's book, The Religion of God, the spiritual organization believes that the world will end when an asteroid collides with Earth in 2026. So there you go. You get that to look forward to.
I'm so excited. Oh my god.
We also have a spicy one coming in 2060. Apparently, Isaac Newton, like the Isaac Newton, in an unpublished manuscript, made a reference to the year 2060 as a predicted date before which the world would definitely not end. So after 2060, according to Newton, all bets are off.
Oh boy, what we'll be like what in our own 60s around that time. So
Yeah.
fuck it. Yeah, fuck it. That's a long life. I don't care.
Yep, we ball.
We ball. Fuck Gen Beta. That's your problem. Oh yeah, that's the new thing now for babies, right? Gen Beta.
Yep.
Man, that is so
apparently
sad.
we're in a new generation. It really is. It's like this is, I think, gonna be the moment where trying to classify things as generations with dumb little tags like that just kind of ends. I think we already sort of saw that start to happen with the transition from millennial into Gen Z, where it got really murky and the lines got really blurred between like what is one generation versus another. But then also in a way that Gen X and millennial was kind of self-accepted. We very much have not seen that in the generations that have followed that.
Well, okay, so I'm of the opinion it worked for a select time. Yep. However, it doesn't apply anymore just from the grounds that things have not changed as much in like the last 20 years.
The internet both things haven't changed that much and the internet moves way too fast.
Yeah, there you go. That little oxymoron right there is perfect. I don't know. Like, the internet does move a lot faster. I feel like our brains are kind of fried from that, culturally speaking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because you get like a lot of people who are just ready to move on after something cool happens. People were fucking dick riding Star Wars for so long until like what? When do you say like the love for Star Wars ended? In the 90s with Phantom Menace?
No, I think it does still go on.
I don't know, man.
Unfortunately.
Maybe to the generation that grew up with it. But like,
yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think that there's probably a sort of God, when was the first Star Wars released?
Like 74, I think.
That sounds right. 77.
Damn.
So people who would have been born with A New Hope are in their 50s now. That sounds about right.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that Star Wars isn't a cultural marvel or anything like that,
Yeah,
but it took way longer to like put it off its golden pop culture throne. Meanwhile,
sure.
it took the MCU 3 movies before everybody started calling it trash.
Okay, yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah, like I feel that is a very apt comparison. Would say it would probably be Harry Potter, but at the same time, Harry Potter knew when to get the fuck out of the game. We'll see with the
Hmm.
reboot, but at this point, I don't think it's fair to compare Harry Potter and Star Wars or to Marvel, even though it is a giant film franchise.
One thing that I do think is difficult for the Harry Potter one, at least, is that a lot of the popularity for that is not in the U.S. So
Oh,
that makes
that's
it
true.
a bit harder to quantify. But I do agree broadly.
Yeah, you know, you got a good point there too. Anyway, Kyril, anything
Mm.
you want to add to this whole generation beta discussion? Because realistically, statistically speaking, if we were to have kids, they would be generation beta at this point.
Oh God, when does the beta end?
Like in 14 years, I think.
14?
Yeah, that's why I say statistically speaking, it's
That's a
very
long
likely.
time.
Yeah,
2039. Damn.
I'm putting in this little predictor here for generation beta as well.
Mm-hmm.
They will have an accent from growing up with AI audio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I could see that.
because we already had kids like stuck with the pandemic with Peppa Pig who were getting British
Mm-hmm.
accents. You have unregulated AI like this in a fucking little piece of plastic that can get you anything in the world at a dollop. I
Mm-hmm.
know, not dollop, just like in a moment's notice. Kids are going to get the AI voice. Watch it happen.
That'll be
We
very. I won't be surprised if that does happen, but I will be very saddened by it.
won't it be sad? Like, I guess we should also quantify what the AI voice is. It can sound human, but it doesn't inflect right.
Yeah.
It does not personify its speech correctly. Like right now, I'm trying to inflect a whole bunch to give you an idea of what a proper inflection sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
The AI voice is just going to be flat.
Yep.
We're talking Microsoft Sam kind of bullshit.
Well, I would almost actually go the other direction with it, right?
Okay.
Where it will be over inflection because that's what started to come up that I've seen on what little I have seen from like TikTok is that the artificial voiceover stuff is overcompensating for its inability to emote naturally.
Fair, fair, fair. Because like you can just put in like the little parameters of where you want the emotes to be. So like people who don't study that shit probably just shove it everywhere, thinking that's how and everybody speaks.
Yeah. I do like a lot that Gen Z has finally gotten changed to the public. Oh God, what's the word? Public. Just the public vocabulary to Zoomer now.
Yeah,
I find it very funny that something that basically just started as a joke has turned into just vernacular. That's what it is.
there you go.
It's just the word that we use now.
Enough about this generational trauma shit. Uh, what's new in the world? What's the news? Oh yes. What?
What is new? No, yeah.
Yeah. The public domain is new. Kyril, did you know it is now legal to make your own Popeye-sona?
Interesting. I was wondering about that for no particular reason.
I just want everybody to know this, right? So, like, 14 minutes before the show started, or at least our prep time for the show, I posted into our little Discord server Popeye-sona time with the images you're seeing right before you. And Cairo just responds with, "Oh, that's concerning."
Yep.
So, Popeye, based Popeye enjoyers, rejoice. We've got Popeye in the public domain. Uh, do you like Popeye the Sailor Man, Cairo?
Not especially, if I have to be honest.
You. Why
It's
not?
fine. So that's the double-edged sword of this, right? Anything that is able to effectively become part of the public domain only does so by people not really caring enough about it for there to be money behind to lobby it for to not become part of the public domain.
You say this a year after Mickey Mouse entered the public domain.
Yeah, but it's not Mickey Mouse, it's Steamboat Mickey.
Steamboat.
If you try to use modern actual Mickey Mouse, Disney will fucking kill you.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, fair enough.
That's kind of what I mean, right? Like, if people cared enough about Popeye, you'd be able to use the original Popeye iconography from the comics, but the Popeye brand would have moved on to something. It would have transformed into something visually distinctly different today.
Damn, dude. Why do you gotta hate on my Sailor Man?
He's just, I don't know. He's a bit mid for the current day, unfortunately.
Oh my god. I cannot get over what I'm hearing. You know what? With my new intellectual property, Popeye, I'm going to make something so amazing that you have to acknowledge the glory that is the Sailor Man.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm talking about raising this up to Sonic the Hedgehog level shits. We're going to have, like, everybody make their own Popeye-sona with how popular my Popeye is going to be. And it's, instead of being like, Edge the Hedgehog, it's going to be like Edge the Sailor Man. It's going to be a DeviantArt trend, Cairo. Get the fuck ready for this.
Do you... Okay, so I say, do you know what the most recent Popeye media that I know of is?
I'm guessing the Robin Williams movie?
No. They made a Popeye video game in 2021.
They did?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Let me see if I can find a picture of it here. Yeah, there we go. That's a good one. Send this over to you. Get your thoughts.
Okay.
This is official. Officially licensed. Released on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay. 1 second, you silly Billy. What the fuck am I looking at?
That is the state of the Popeye franchise.
Okay, well, hear me out, right? For a PlayStation 1 port, this doesn't look too bad.
I actually don't know if it is. They had an 80s Popeye game. I don't think it is, though.
It's apparently delisted, by the way.
Yes.
That's so fucking funny.
I wish that this was the kind of thing where it was some crappy remake or remaster or something, but I think this is genuinely like a completely original game that somebody paid other people to make and just sucks.
Jesus. Okay, you know what the most recent Popeye thing I've seen is?
What's that?
Have you ever heard of I Lie Popeye?
I don't think so.
What if I told you last year they gave Popeye a fucking shonen anime updated like reboot?
Popeye with abs just is wrong.
I agree. Popeye with abs.
That's not my Popeye.
Yes. The actual art, well, he has abs in this art. Okay, never mind. Like so I was going to show you a page from the art, right?
Yeah.
However, it was after he had the spinach, so like the spinach made his abs pop out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it's charming as fuck. Look at that.
It's very expressionate for sure.
Yeah. Give me a fucking shonen Popeye movie. I will watch that shit. Like they even had like little fucking homage covers to like other big anime property. Like here's the One Piece one.
Yeah.
Charming. It's skibidi skib, it's skibidi scab, it's skibidi scab. Chiral. Skibidi skibidi, skibidi scab.
I don't know. It feels a little bit too much for me. Like somebody who's a big fan of Popeye and doing like, what if they made a Popeye comic and this is my idea of what the cover would look like, but it's the One Piece style.
I mean, yeah.
And it's kind of what it is. It just doesn't feel like a real thing.
It doesn't feel official enough.
Kind of.
I'm not going to show you the one where it's a Dragon Ball Z style then.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chiral hates the U.S. Navy because he hates Popeye. We've got a couple other things entering the public domain you would like to go over.
I would love to. I actually just found an article that was going through some of them. There's some very notable stuff for sure.
There's a straight up banger in the public domain this year.
Yeah.
Fucking The Coconuts, the first Marx Brothers movie. I'm very happy about that. I have a copy of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much a fan of The Coconuts.
Oh, is this like the spooky scary skeletons dance?
Is it?
The skeleton dance 1929 Walt Disney has entered into the public domain. Directed by Walt Disney, I should say. I don't know if it was actually a proper Disney thing, but apparently it's public domain.
Well, this is going to be the spookiest Halloween of all time, motherfucker.
Yeah. See, that has the kind of cultural zeitgeist that I could see actually being relevant to people doing just so much to the point where it's too much with.
Did you know Singing in the Rain is now in public domain?
I was just saying that, yeah.
I was actually going to start the show with a cover of that, but then I thought, nah.
Apparently Rhapsody in Blue as well.
Oh, yes. I'm a very big fan of that piece as well. Well, the first recordings. The piece itself has been in public domain, but the recordings are now in there.
That makes sense. As recorded by Gershwin, yes.
Yes. Which is pretty badass. Tintin is also in the public domain. I don't know what the fuck a Tintin is. I'm American.
Yeah. Well, Popeye's also British, so...
No way he's British.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. You are just slandering my Sailor Man at this point. Let's see here. Created by L.Z. Chrysler Seeger, an American cartoonist.
Okay. I was saying, like, one of the first comics, and it had something about Great Britain stamped on it. So maybe it was just syndicated, weirdly.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You big palooka. Did you know Popeye's father's name is Poop Deck Pappy?
I did not.
Now you know.
Glad I do.
The amazing things that's on Wikipedia.
There's some other notable books, though.
Like?
A Farewell to Arms, Hemingway. All Quiet on the Western Front. Very much also kind of in the current vernacular with the, I guess you call it TV series adaptation and the recent film adaptation. Yeah. They did both.
Fair.
There was a film version in, I believe, German that was recently released, and a different adaptation of the same story in English that was serialized, I think.
That makes sense. Okay.
Apparently, as well, you got an Agatha Christie, Seven Dials Mystery, and The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner.
I don't know how I feel about Faulkner.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Salvador Dali has the great masturbator enter the public domain. There's also The Treachery of Images by Rene Magritte. I could be getting that wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a very famous one. Honestly, I was kind of half tempted to draw a picture of Popeye strangling Steamboat Mickey for the thumbnail today. But the Popeye-sonas were calling me.
I think it was the right call.
It's the right amount cursed. People are going to see the Popeye-sonas and they're going to be like, what the fuck is this?
I actually had a thought just now that sent me a bit down a rabbit hole that I'm trying to find out here. I was curious when Casablanca would go into public domain. And we have, what is that, 42? Or is it 44? 43. So we have another 14 years.
Damn.
So 2040-ish. I was surprised, though, when I pulled it up on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 99% positive score.
I mean, Casablanca is a very good movie.
There's a... Oh, no. It's notable because it's not 100%.
Do you really expect anything to get 100% in today's market?
Not necessarily, but that's weird. I was curious who was the one who dissented.
Are we going to bully someone?
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
The single rotten review for Casablanca on Rotten Tomatoes is from a 2004 review on the website lowiqcanadian.com.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am not.
That is...
The current website is gone almost entirely. It's been pretty much demolished and it has hosting for just random crap on it. But I'm curious to see if I can find their Casablanca review because, yeah, it's not showing up. Unfortunate. The Rotten Tomatoes one just says overblown, which, like, okay, you can think that. That's even a reasonable position to take, that it's overrated. But you can't tell me that you still think it's a negative movie, that it's bad.
Casablanca,
I just don't believe you.
It's one of those movies that does everything just incredibly solid.
Yeah.
And it's just... Casablanca's a mood. Like, you can't
Absolutely.
just give that movie a negative review. It's a mood. It's a way of living. Truly, they were a low IQ Canadian.
Can you give me a number between 1 and 55?
36.
36. This is their review for Step Into Liquid.
What the fuck?
Apparently. No, it's not. Their website, it just doesn't work. Maybe it's just a weird thing. What was the other one? Just go for the first one. Terminator 3. Does this actually go to Terminator 3? This is old internet stuff. They have the review broken down into a number of categories. First, plot, the little plot synopsis. Then they have what happened with WHA apostrophe. A brief memo to the director. Another section, these are all like only like 2 sentences, barely a paragraph.
Okay.
Your funny bone is terminated. Are you worthy? R.U. Yeah. It's just not a figure of authority, if I must say so.
I am trying to find information on this critic. We'll put it in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Because apparently they wrote for a magazine as well. Flack Magazine. And
Wild.
another publication called Mixed Reviews. You know, Martin Scribbs, I know you're out there. Please, reach out to us. We would love to hear your opinions on, like, Citizen Kane. Unless you reviewed it here. Let's see here. Okay.
I couldn't find it.
He gave Evan Almighty a very low score. I'll live with that. There's also, let's see here. Okay. Now, this guy seems like just a contrarian sometimes.
That's very... I guess maybe this will be something worth checking in later, but I think the Wayback Machine's website is struggling with it being the current year.
Why do you say that?
I was having trouble loading their webpage, web.archive.org. I noticed in the URL there's kind of a date code. It's not quite right. It's just 2025 and then a bunch of zeros. I changed it to 20, and it wasn't loading. I kept getting a bunch of errors. I changed it to 2024 and a bunch of zeros, and that works.
Weird.
I'm going to check one more snapshot here that was taken in February of 2005. 20 years ago. No way.
What?
Wow. They called Ocean's 12. 12 is the new 0. So they're objectively wrong now.
Contrarian shit, dude.
I also still can't find their review for Casablanca.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it as well. This is just gone. Okay, here's an ethical question for you. If we can no longer find the full review, should Rotten Tomatoes still keep the score in their database?
It's a good question.
Because I'm of the opinion probably should still. However, I feel like we can't supplement the actual reasoning behind it. There is a little bit of a gray area.
I think there's a good argument to be made that if a review predates Rotten Tomatoes' inception and it can no longer be verified, it should probably not be included. That's something that makes Rotten Tomatoes really hard to use for anything older than 2010. Or basically anything that existed before Rotten Tomatoes existed as a website, is that the reviews for it get extremely skewed when it's not accounting for modern tastes.
Fair. But I guess, okay, here's a question for you, right? Is Rotten Tomatoes meant to provide an aggregate based off modern taste, or is it purely for archival aggregation?
Well, I think just given this single moment, it has failed at archival aggregation.
You know what? Fair.
If it was able to more effectively capture the full picture of someone's review, I think that would be not unreasonable. But they haven't. I also want to point out, which is very funny, I found that there's an About the Author page on the Low IQ Canadian website, and they include in their little 1-2 sentence about themselves that they became an official tomato meter critic at Rotten Tomatoes. So
proud of you.
Good for you.
Yeah. What else is on the menu today?
What else is on the menu today? Unfortunately, we do have some fairly serious news to go over quickly.
Oh, no.
Really just one that I want to go over briefly, and that is that there was a fairly massive terror attack in New Orleans
Yes.
on New Year's Day. The investigation for it is obviously still underway. Currently, 15 people, including the attacker, were killed, and at least 35 others injured, including 2 police officers who were shot. It occurred on Bourbon Street when the attacker drove a truck into the crowded Bourbon Street after on New Year's Day, and then proceeded to get out of the truck and shoot at people. It's pretty bad. We don't know a ton yet. There's some questions as to possible ties to ISIS generally that are yet to be fully confirmed, but it seems possible that this is just, very old school radicalized domestic terrorism, which is a pretty stark reminder of the problems that, not just America, but the world at large kind of still faces as we tackle new and exciting fucked up things every day.
Did you want to cover the Cybertruck exploding?
Yes, that was the other one that I wanted to bring up. And I think we can talk about this one a little bit more, or at least maybe speculate on it a little bit more. I don't feel comfortable speculating on something like the other attack, but given that the Cybertruck explosion, in air quotes that I'm doing right now, only really caused any substantial harm to the driver of the truck, the stakes are a lot lower.
Okay, so I want to preface this one with a question.
Yeah.
Intentional?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very, okay, so the guy's dead, right?
Yeah.
And he tried to blow up a car. He tried to make a car bomb. So I don't feel too bad about saying that the guy was, well, so it's the double-edged sword, right? The guy made a bomb and the bomb went off. So just on those 2 metrics, he's better than the vast majority of bombers. But his bomb sucked. So
supposedly, there's also a rumor that the Cybertruck kind of fucked him over as well.
6.5 out of 10. Technically, you did the thing.
Jesus. Have you watched the video of him from the CCTV footage where you can kind of see him trying to shake out of the car before it explodes?
I did. Oh, I heard about this. I haven't actually seen the CCTV video of it, but I did hear about that element of it.
Yeah. So I saw the CCTV video. I'm pretty sure it's just from a cop's body camera when they're reviewing the footage because it's very weird. But I swear you can see a few seconds before it goes off, the door trying to move, but it can't open. Which, I don't know if it was a suicide bombing, but holy fuck, that's a grim, way to go.
Apparently he released a manifesto as well that confirms that.
What, it was supposed to be a suicide bombing?
That it was not.
Oh, fuck me.
So the perpetrator authored a manifesto sent by email to Samuel Schmoes, a retired Army intelligence officer. This is from Wikipedia. The manifesto, which officials believe to be authentic, contained claims of clandestine operations, war crimes, and advanced military technologies. In the manifesto, the perpetrator said that he was under surveillance by intelligence agencies due to his knowledge of war crimes and classified details about an advanced U.S. drone program. He stated that he planned to escape across the Mexico border, but feared U.S. intelligence agents would stop him, noting he was armed and in possession of a vehicle-borne IED, indicating he did not plan to harm himself. He instructed Schmoes to release the email after January 1st, 2025, and requested anonymity until that date. The manifesto was first revealed on the Sean Ryan Show podcast on January 3rd, 2025, hosted by Sean Ryan, who is a retired Navy SEAL before being sent to the FBI. That sucks to be that guy.
So why did he blow up the fucking car if he was just trying to hop the border?
So I believe that he wanted to set off the IED, the car bomb, and then flee to Mexico.
So a distraction.
Yeah. Or maybe just use it as I'm going to cross the border, don't stop me, I've got a bomb kind of thing.
Fair. I feel kind of gross with this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think it was like this guy was legit, or do you think it was just mental illness at play? Because
Oh,
he
I
was a
mean,
veteran.
absolutely a degree of mental illness, right?
Yeah.
Like, from my position of absolute non-authority, the first thing that jumps out to me is claims of surveillance by intelligence agencies. That is seemingly some amount of schizophrenia. If the guy claims to have witnessed war crimes, that sure sounds like there's probably a degree of PTSD being involved, which can snowball into a number of other conditions, right?
Yeah.
Guy's definitely not there 100% in a clear state of mind. Um, yeah, totally.
No, I'm with you on this one. To me, it is. I don't know. I'm gonna fully like just kind of go off. The way this is developed as a story has just become so warped. Because I remember the like New Year's Day when this all happened, people were memeing on it because they just thought it was a Cybertruck defect.
Yeah.
And like there is some degree of defect in there because apparently the door's locked on him that he couldn't get out. But at the same time, it's also like, damn, this guy needed help.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't breathe today. My nose is just totally clogged. You ever get that feeling, Kyril?
A bit. I'll say though, I've been having I am not an unbiased position on that though. I've been having sinus problems, so yes,
Dude,
I have.
It's that special time in Michigan right now where everything is so fucking dry.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm gasping for air.
I always think about this time of year, and I should probably do it at some point and just like get a proper humidifier.
Oh, that's a good idea,
like-
actually.
Yeah, just do it.
Okay.
Bite the bullet.
Yeah, fuck it.
Last piece I wanted to touch on was actually more or less just pointing and laughing at Rudy Giuliani for a bit.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm always up for that.
In a 1-2 punch that we got to close out the week as part of the defamation. What do you even call it? So, to back up, Rudy Giuliani defamed poll workers in Georgia in the wake of the 2020 election. A court found that he was liable for damages that were caused to those poll workers and that he would have to pay them in some amount of restitution. He refused, and it has since continued into litigation as to how that payment will proceed. The crux of this revolves around a condo that Giuliani owns in Florida that he is trying to claim should not be included in the judgment as it is his primary residence. However, gross incompetence abound, and it was not actually declared as his primary residence when the proceedings started. It's been just the most sad lawyering and clearly just delaying kind of tactics because he doesn't want to pay anything. It's very pathetic for somebody who claims, as Giuliani does, to be one of the foremost lawyers of the U.S. On Friday, though, and we got some of the news released on this on Saturday, as part of his delaying tactics, Giuliani has apparently claimed that his emails are not communications, but documents during a hearing over whether he should be held in contempt for his failure to pay the people he defamed.
Oh, Rudy. Do you think Donnie will let him like sleep on the couch in Mar-a-Lago?
No,
No?
I don't think so.
Damn, dude. I mean, you're probably right.
The other punch from this is that the court has now directed the plaintiffs, those who were defamed, to file for a default judgment. In response to which, Giuliani has pleaded with the judge, apparently saying that he, quote, I had not been checking the email, being the email that he gave to the court to receive updates and further information about the case.
That's a bad thing to say to the judge.
Yes.
Dude, like, he's a lawyer. He knows better than that. I'm not even a lawyer, and I know better than that.
Like, beyond that, he pays other lawyers to handle this shit for him.
What is his fucking defect? Like, is he on something? I'm genuinely asking if he's on something.
Dementia.
Dementia?
He's just old.
You think it's... I don't know, man. That sounds like drugs.
Oh, well, I mean, yes, right, because he's old, and drugs become a bit of an inevitability at a certain point.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Jesus.
I think the ultimate problem is he's just very old.
Poor Rudy. Like, I half mean that, half don't mean that, because he's a fucking piece of shit. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man. You can only watch a guy get beaten the fuck down so many times.
Last piece that I wanted to touch on that
Yeah.
I have queued up here, the inauguration for the upcoming president has started to receive some very interesting donations. Have you heard about this?
Fuck. Wasn't... Okay, you're going to go ahead, because I think I know what you're about to say, but I cannot remember the details.
I have a larger trend that I want to talk about, but the recent news is that Meta, the company who owns Facebook, Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, Google, and Amazon have all donated $1 million to the Trump inaugural fund for the inauguration, basically. In 2021, their donations to the Biden inaugural fund were Meta, $0, Tim Cook, $0, Sam Altman, $0, and then Google and Amazon both donated $200,000.
Huh.
Off the back of this, we also had let me actually double check which broadcaster this is. ABC gave a $16 million settlement for defamation that they did to then presidential candidate Trump when they described what he did to Ishan Carroll as rape, because the judge said it was rape because it was rape. Definitionally. Rather than fighting this clear slap suit that Trump tried to give on them for defamation, they rolled over and paid him $16 million. And it's been really, really pathetic seeing how quickly, just all of the worst and most usual people that you would expect are willing to just roll over for the shit that we're dealing with now.
Well, to be fair, I don't think they really have a spine at this point.
No, they don't. Absolutely not.
This all just seems kind of in their wheelhouse to me, and I don't see how you're surprised.
Maybe surprise isn't right. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
I hope that the, just presence of social media and having all of this amplified in the wake of a second Trump presidency will snap some number of people out of their stupor and realize what the actual problems are in our country.
I'm honestly... Okay, so you know how we talked about like the AI bubble bursting soon?
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the opinion that social media's bubble is about to pop as well.
Yeah.
I think it's going to fall with AI. I think that we see a lot of influencer-based economies right now. And it feels like there's a scam every week at this point. like Hawk Tui coin, or
Mm-hmm.
fucking, you know, the Mr. Beast drama that happened. Fucking, I don't know, dude. I feel like we're at a point, like Honey, I guess, as well, like where there's so much controversy coming out like every week, and a lot of this is
Yeah.
just done because nature of the beast. People need to get paid, and it's just at the point where I don't think there'll be regulation that pops the bubble, but it's just going to be like a consumer apathy that's like on its way in.
People are too addicted for that.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Damn, dude. Maybe you got a point. Maybe you got a point. I think that's a fair criticism of people.
I do think we have a little bit of, glimmer on the horizon that something might happen to correct that. California recently signed into law a new bill that makes it illegal to allow to knowingly have minors on your social media feed be exposed basically to any sort of an addictive algorithm.
How do they quantify
And
addictive though?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have to look into it more, and like, how do they also verify who's a minor and who isn't? I don't know, but I would hope that it at least gives social media the push that it needs. I mean, not even the push; it requires them to just make an alternative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, you can have garbage Twitter, or you can have not garbage Twitter. We're going to give you garbage Twitter first, but here's the option for garbage Twitter if you're a parent and you want your child to not be on regular Twitter or not be on garbage Twitter. And then maybe that, just that little bit, will give an option for enough people to be like, hey, I don't want to be on garbage Twitter anymore, and try the other thing.
You know, this is where I'm kind of leaning with my consumer apathy part. Like, did you hear that Meta's going to start making AI profiles?
Oh, you mean they already have? And they got
They already
caught
have.
for leaving them up?
Yeah, they're basically just announcing them
Yeah.
as a feature instead of a bug at this point. But like, I think we're going to get to a point, and this is more of that bubble here, where the apathy is going to lead to people willing to pay for social media services. Like, I'm not talking about like verification, but like here is just YouTube but better, like more curated YouTube, or like
Sure.
here's curated Twitter for you. And I think that's where the bubble's going to start bursting right there, when that kind of stuff starts inflating how everything is perceived on the internet. And in a weird way, it's an underwhelming Web3.
Could see that happening for sure.
Because like, okay, let me put it this way, right? Verification on Twitter, that whole $8 scam. That's not what I'm imagining at all. Because that's still the same shitty Twitter. Like, I think you would need to build a new social media site from the ground up, and then charge people like a $1 monthly fee.
People won't do it.
You don't think people
Why
do
would
it?
you? Why would you switch over to cocaine and pay for it when meth is free? Meth is worse. Both are bad for you. But when one is free and one's $1, why would you pay $1?
You're right. You're right, Kyle. Okay, I guess I'm just using a little too much imagination.
I would love for that to happen, but
I oh,
people collectively haven't given me much hope for the future when they are required to make decisions on their own.
I'm of the opinion at this point, right, that like I don't want any of that to happen. I kind of just want the internet to break apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little over it, dude. Like I still go on. I still go on Twitter and whatnot. But at the same time, I'm just like, I'm so sick of the brain rot.
I've actually been very glad to basically stop using Twitter at this point.
Have you now?
Kind of surprised that I've been able to, but yeah, I've been using Blue Sky more. But it's funny, I've just stopped using Twitter. I've been using Blue Sky instead, and Blue Sky is not as good, frankly, at keeping my attention, so I'm not using social media as much.
See, I've translated my Twitter use to Instagram more. Granted, I've been on that much longer, and I think the algorithm's better on there, for me at least. Yep. Yeah. I just hate how it's trying to become TikTok.
Yeah, I find that pretty frustrating as well. Just everything erased, trying to have a race to the bottom.
Would you call Etsy a social media platform?
God, I haven't looked at Etsy in so long. From what I remember of Etsy, no.
No?
But it very well could have changed to become more of a social media platform at this point. I just haven't realized.
I feel if you open up the definition a little bit more, Etsy does fall under it, just because it's like user-created web postings and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. I think I'm a little too more liberal with my definition of social media.
It could be. I have also never used Etsy in any significant volume.
Fair.
Something that I wanted to bring up, maybe to kind of end on here, just something to keep an eye on for the year ahead, right?
Yeah.
Every year, there's a YouTuber I follow called Ordinary Things, who does a year in review kind of roundup.
I was looking for that this year, but I couldn't find it.
Here, I would be happy to send you a link. Yeah. But in his closing piece of that, I wanted to echo his same thoughts, because I think it's very valid. And especially as we've gotten to the latter, the end half, the last half of the year, it's really shown up in the way that there is so much happening in just the global political scape in general, with Russia showing its weakening military and its weakening economy, with Israel being more and more emboldened and stretching its military more into more and more countries, and very much having both of those points highlighted with the recent fall of the Assad regime in Syria and the inability of both Iran, Lebanon, and Russia to prevent that fall, that it seems like we may be moving to a desperate World War kind of situation, right?
Define
how many more?
Yeah.
Well, so if the Russian economy continues to deteriorate at the rate that it is, and their military isn't able to make ground in Ukraine, because they've basically gone all in on that front. They're not supporting their allies. They're having to bring in soldiers from fucking North Korea at this point just to keep manpower up. They're showing very clear signs of desperation in their actions, you know? So how long can they keep that up before they have to start, before either their government or economy collapses is the one option, or their government takes drastic actions like starting a massive international war in order to hide how bad their economy actually is. You know, if you're at the point of economy collapses or conscript millions of people and send them into other countries to die, I don't think Putin's going to have much of a hard time making that second choice. And kind of arguably already has started to.
I mean, yeah.
Iran is also extremely desperate right now. The fact that their proxies in Lebanon have been so effectively just raised by the Israeli military in such a short period has been a massive blow to their ego and their projected power. And similarly, their government and economy are not in great spots. And we could, you know, I think the thing to watch in the next year is, do things continue to deteriorate there? Does a new normal get made? Do things continue to deteriorate? Do things get better? If things continue to deteriorate, they're going to start getting pushed to desperation.
So what does that look like to you, in your opinion?
I don't know.
Mm.
The U.S. is no uh, stranger to military action in the Middle East, but until now, most of that has been less organized.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be the most surprised to see that continue. So Turkey is a big one, right? Turkey is a major international player that so far has courted the favor of governments everywhere, but hasn't really taken a side yet. And thankfully, they've kind of leaned against the direction that Putin is going because they have major problems internally, particularly with corruption, and their economy's not great. But they haven't gotten quite as bad in terms of like personal freedoms as some of their neighbors have. It's very much a relatively positive thing compared to the people in their immediate vicinity. If Turkey goes full Russian, then I think that's where we see the turning point happen, where you have Russia, Turkey, Iran as this kind of like central axis
I was about to say an
of
axis of powers.
of opposition to the rebels in Syria, to the Israeli military, and to Ukraine, of course, more generally.
Damn, that whole little area is just so fucked.
Very much so. Putin also has the very big problem in the loss of the Assad regime in Syria, where in a pinch they no longer have an explicit access point that an explicit ally has to the Mediterranean Sea. They have the Black Sea in Crimea that they can access, but this is like the classic warm water port bullshit that Russia can't help but avoid. Turkey has massive coastal frontage, no problems accessing the Mediterranean. If Russia or one of its proxies can't take control of Syria, I wouldn't be surprised to see them take a more firm stance in Turkey trying to maintain that relationship, if only so that they can better preserve their access to the Black Sea and through that the Mediterranean.
Fuck me.
I really hope things don't go bad, but things have been going on for a while and they haven't exactly gotten better yet.
No,
You know?
like I agree with you. I'm a little jaded at this point to the whole situation, but
Yeah.
I never really considered like the whole Syrian situation would be such a
Yeah, I'm a bit. I'm not surprised. I want to be
Yeah.
more surprised in the lack of coverage that the fall of the Assad regime has had, but people just don't care right now. And maybe the good thing of that apathy will be that people continue to not care generally, and Syria just gets kind of left alone for a while.
I
That
think that'd
would
be
be the
best.
best thing by far for the Syrian people.
Yeah.
They have undergone massive hardships, God, for 50 years now under the Assad family just dictatorship. So if they can get a bit of a reprieve, I'm sure they would be ecstatic to have that, to rebuild their government and their country. But gotta wait and see.
God damn.
Mm-hmm.
You got me thinking international politics again. Fuck you.
I can't
damn.
help but be fascinated by it.
Dude, no, it's an absolutely fascinating situation we're in right now, because like, I don't know. You remember back when there was those cancer rumors from that Putin had cancer and whatnot?
Yep.
I don't believe those anymore, but I am at the point where I'm like, the old guard is changing any day at this point, and I think they know it. Yeah.
I could totally see the good and bad of living in the modern times. We're very rapidly approaching a point where cancer is no longer a death sentence.
I feel that. Okay, so personal life here, right?
Yeah.
Grandfather has cancer right now. Very
Yeah.
sad. Uh, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I have like a lot of hope for the man just
Yeah.
because of how well he's been taking his treatment and how well his treatment's been doing for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like
Catching these problems early has done so much on its own to increase survivability.
yeah, dude, like I used to think cancer was a death sentence, but like
Mhm.
now I feel like there's a lot of hope in
I
that
mean,
field.
it's genuinely, it is not that long ago that it was.
Yeah.
There's always been certain types of cancers that have responded better and differently to certain treatments that have given them different survivabilities. But it what like 20 years ago, right? Within our lifetimes, it absolutely was. Where people wouldn't be aware that they had cancer until it had progressed to a point where it would be impacting their day-to-day lives, at which point it was way too late for any treatment to be really effective. And just in the last 20 years, the massive amounts of informational campaigns that have gone into having people check themselves or to get checked for commonly occurring cancers has done massive work to catch these problems early and keep people alive.
Mm-hmm.
What I was going to say on that part, though, was that this is the unfortunate side of it, is that I could totally see it being that Putin did have cancer in a very mild, early caught way. He had treatment or surgery to remove whatever it was, and the dude's just fine now, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Vladimir, I know you're listening. Come on to the show and why don't you talk international politics with us? We'll have a gay old time.
That's something that I would be fascinated to see, but I just can't trust someone as slimy as Putin to actually say what they actually think rather than what is politically advantageous for themselves.
Well, that's the thing, you know? Like, that's the beautiful part about, like, a liar like him. If you know he's lying, you know what he's not believing at the point, and that helps narrow things down.
I suppose.
Yeah. It's
Maybe
like
he'll
that,
take this calm period in his life to write an autobiography, and we'll get to know the real Putin.
you know he has an Aikido book?
He doesn't he? He has multiple, doesn't he?
I think he's got two.
We looked into this. He's a multi-published author.
Let's check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
We haven't looked
Vladimir
into this in a while. Oh my god, he had a release in 2021.
Oh my god.
41% of people like this book. Very good.
Sorry, it's a Judo. Judo is the book you
Judo,
wrote.
yes. Yeah, he's got a couple of them. I believe he's got the one that definitely shows up. Oh my god, what are these actually? I don't believe these are legitimate.
No, I feel like some of these are AI under his name.
Yeah, like 2023, the New World Order according to Putin. No, it fucking isn't. This
No,
is very
fuck
clearly
you.
an AI generated picture. Never
Yeah.
mind that this is apparently a series and they published like 6 books.
You know, I'm kind of very morbidly curious because I like martial arts.
Yeah.
I'm very curious how cool or how good Putin's judo book is.
So is this actually... Apparently he actually did publish a book in 2021. This is listed on Wikipedia, and it seems to be verified by a number of sources. This is actually a book that he actually wrote
Yeah,
on
it's
the
an
historical
essay.
unity of Russians and Ukrainians. Big shock.
What? That's a propaganda piece.
Something a bit more relevant that I might actually go find a copy of this. Apparently, in May 5th of 2000, Putin did publish an autobiography of sorts, a self-prescribed self-portrait.
First person, an astonishingly frank self-portrait by Russia's president.
This was like right during one of his first terms, I believe. Yeah, he was first elected in 2000. So this would have been like post KGB, pre or just after his first election. Probably wrote it during the campaign, I guess you could say.
I'm reading the Goodreads reviews on this. I'm very curious now.
It's rated a lot higher than I would have expected on Amazon.
Yeah, people are just writing this as like, this is probably bullshit, but it's well written bullshit.
Yeah. It's also old enough that I think it's probably, if it is bullshit, authentic bullshit. Bullshit that he actually believes, you know?
Could be.
And it's only $10 on Amazon.
You couldn't pay me $10 to read that.
I don't know. That's something that I'm going to be very much trying to do more in this year. I think New Year's resolutions are dumb and pointless and counterproductive even at times. But
Yes.
I am going to be trying to find more time to just read books this year because I have not read enough lately.
I've got like my whole year of books already planned out at this point. And like I've literally got them on my desk right now. I've got like 6 books I'm reading at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm going to say this is a proper resolution because I agree with you. I think they're counterintuitive and they're really just there to make you feel good for a week.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah,
sorry.
Yes, please. No, go ahead.
My big goal is I want to run a half marathon this year.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Like last year, my big goal was to get like under a half an hour in a 5K and then run in under an hour 10K.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is just logically progressing that theme.
For sure.
However, I also really want to make sure I get through my backlog of books.
Yeah, I was going to say on my perspective on resolutions in general is that in my opinion, if you're trying to do something better for yourself in your life, the best thing that you can do is to find ways to make things be habit forming. And
Yes.
resolutions do not make habits form.
Resolutions they're really shitty written goals. Because like, well, one you kind of isolate. Like, I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. If you really want your life to change, you wouldn't wait till the beginning of the year. Which is where I think they become very ineffective, and that you have to wait for them. You don't really start them well, and then like again, they're easy to drop because, as you said, they're not really habit forming.
Yep.
With that being said, Kyril, should we shout out JC?
Which one?
R.I.P.
Is like-
Jimmy Carter.
Okay. I was like, Christmas was a few weeks ago.
I know. You see, I pulled the sneaky on you.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Rest in peace to one of the few good men that have become president. He may not have been a good president, but he was unequivocally a good man.
Yeah, it's been interesting because neither of us were born or during Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
So like you only hear about him as this mythical a creature that collects our tax dollars in his retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's basically like our version of King Charles, basically. But it's interesting to me to see like the people who did go through Jimmy Carter and how they've like unleashed some resentment on him in his passing. Have you noticed that as well?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think it's a bad thing because like when you're a politician, you're a idea first and then a person last.
Yep.
So, like, quite frankly, well, like, let's say 10 years from now, when Donnie and Joe are gone, I
Yep.
can imagine we're going to be very similar to
Yeah.
how people are feeling about Carter.
I agree. I think for Joe in particular, he's going to carry a very similar legacy that
Yeah.
I think we will need to do our part to try and push back on and help people in the future to understand the difference between someone being a good individual versus an effective leader. And that is something that I've tried to educate myself more about Carter's presidency as like how effective was he and what does his legacy actually look like politically. And it's not great. He does incredible things in his personal life, and I very much admire his dedication and selflessness. But that did not transition effectively into politics in the way that the people needed.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Oh.
I think Jimmy Carter has a very complicated legacy.
Yes.
And he's a great example of how, again, like how I said, when you're a politician, you're an idea first and a human second. And quite frankly, it makes me wonder about, like, it just kind of puts everybody else in context, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely does.
Because there's a couple people who are kind of shitty politicians that I have no idea who they are as people, but I can kind of get a little bit of a grasp based off their political works. And I'm not talking about one specific guy coming into office soon, but I'm talking about a certain somebody who abandoned his constituents to go to the Bahamas when they lost their power grid.
Wonder who that could be.
I wasn't being subtle. I don't know, dude. I don't think a good person would make a good politician anymore. Do you think that?
I don't know. I not with I don't think either of our political parties allows anyone to be a good politician.
No.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
You can't be a good politician with the things that you have to pledge to and do to remain a politician within those parties.
I think the federal government is too bloated at this point in the two-party system, where you have someone like Biden who is very center.
Yeah.
We can agree on that. And then he's also on the same like party as AOC of all people, and Bernie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that is a bloated political landscape where being a Democrat means nothing.
Yeah.
And you can argue the same exact thing on the Republican side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have people like Liz Cheney and then Marjorie Taylor Greene, who are supposed to be the same party.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I think that is a big moral failing of the two-party system to the American people.
Absolutely. Very much agree with that.
Yeah.
I would wonder if a real third party did come out and getting any sort of significant support, how quickly would we get ranked choice voting as a thing nationally?
Oh, very.
It's just the second that both parties are
threatened,
equally threatened by this new force, just immediately.
I think ranked party choice would start in the big states first. Like, first one would be Texas, automatically.
Well, we have it in one state at least.
Georgia?
No.
Where?
I don't think so, at least. Let me double check. It is used in 4 cities, which I'm not counting because that is cheating.
That's cheating.
2 actual states. When did One that I know for sure, the one that I wasn't aware of, is apparently Maine. Maine uses ranked choice voting. They did as of 2016, and they were the first state to enact it. The one that I'm familiar with, because it recently happened, is that Alaska has started to use ranked choice voting.
Good for Alaska. I respect that. Yeah.
They actually had a measure because I believe they instituted it in 2020. They voted for it, and it was by very narrow margins. It passed, and it was on the ballot again in 2024 to remove it, and it very, very narrowly did not get removed. So, right on the borderline, but they still have it for now.
That's cool. I respect that.
Yeah. Good job, Alaska.
Yeah. You're going to still keep voting red, but I respect your vote.
They had a Democrat for a very brief minute.
Eh. But, like, this is what I mean, like...
It does show just that happened, how dissatisfied the people in general were with the Republican Party in, like, 2022.
Makes sense, really.
And 2020. People were just very tired of that crap.
Okay, I want to give them some credit. The bounce back from 2022 to 2024 by the Republican Party, the GOP, that's got to be studied. It kind of blows my mind that the red wave was so delayed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that only comes from a proper and effective propaganda.
Definitely.
Yeah. Which is why, as soon as Donnie hits the office, all you're going to hear me do is bitch about the economy.
Good.
Yeah.
As is our right, and one could argue our responsibility.
Dude, did you see that new Marvel movie? It sucked. I can't believe the economy did this to us. Dude, can you believe Jimmy Carter's dead? I can't believe the economy did this. What the fuck is wrong with this economy? See? That's how you complain about the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my god, I just dropped my phone. Why would the economy do this? Goddamn inflation.
It's out of control.
It is absolutely out of control. The fact that my phone can't just stay on my lap when recording, when I'm flailing around being a fucking idiot. I'll say it, Kyril, right? This kind of thing didn't happen during Obama.
It's true.
It did not happen during Obama. It did not happen during Roosevelt. Now that was a strong economy right there.
Anything else?
Fuck. I'm Mr. Ryan, and we're going to Donnie Part 2 next time we're here.
And I'm Kyril, and I'm a Schmo.
You just gotta stay positive, Kyril. Think about all the good memes we're going to get. Comedy is legal now in America. Kyril, we can stop using pronouns. Do you know how great it's going to be?
I do always love seeing the posts of somebody who's like, we should stop using pronouns, and then people pointing out all of the pronouns that they used to make that declaration. So I hope that doesn't stop, because that's very funny.
You know it's going to happen. Like, fuck, man. The economy's so bad, I can't even use they, them pronouns anymore, because I just can only barely afford my ass. I'm Mr. Ryan, and, I'm a Popeye fan.
And I'm Kyril, and I'm still a Schmo.
And this has been the Two Schmoes show. Have a happy 25, everybody.